Hello and welcome to Wrestling with Anime. I'm Paul.
And I'm Justin.
So I had you watch a William Regal match. It's actually the last match of his career. Going up against Cesaro in NXT. This was on Christmas Day 2013, I think. So what did you think of William Regal?
Alright, so starting with the promo and okay, so I get the idea that he's this old, I guess he's a retiring wrestler already pretty much at that
he's
point.
Basically retired at this point.
Yeah, but I can tell okay, so he's probably, this is his passing of the torch match.
Yeah, very much so, yeah.
So I'm alright, let's see how it goes. And
so what did you think of the promo, what he says? Because this is one of my favorite promos. It's so good.
Yeah, it was fairly decent, I'd say.
He has a great line in there where he's he's like, everybody who's known me knows that I am a first-rate technical wrestler until Cesaro showed up. And the only chance I have of winning is a miracle. And miracles don't come to broken-down old villains like me. Which is such a good line.
And then, when I'm watching this, okay, this can go two ways for the match. If Regal were to win this match for his last match, I mean, that probably wouldn't be right.
No, of course not. The expectation when you're having your last match is that you're going to put someone over.
Yeah.
That's just kind of the way things are done. In Japan, this is kind of a cool thing, because in America, if you have somebody who's retired and they come back for one more match, it's basically the expectation is if they're coming back, they're going to win. In Japan, it's the exact opposite. Because the whole idea with the Japanese mindset is they present pro wrestling as very much a sport. And the whole idea is, well, you haven't competed in the sport for 5 years. How the fuck are you going to win? Which I just love that, the difference in mentality there.
I see.
So what did you think of the match?
I enjoyed this match, actually. For the most part, I know most of the match was holds and stuff.
Yes.
But the way that it's done, it's very dynamic, and I rather actually enjoyed how it went down like that.
Yeah, everything means something when they do it.
Yeah.
And it's always building to the next thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, it's great. I love it. I think it's especially so I'm assuming you don't know what NXT is.
Not exactly.
Okay, so NXT is WWE's developmental territory. So think of I'll use a hockey analogy that even you'll understand.
Like college hockey?
Yeah, it's basically so the NHL would be equivalent to the WWE main roster.
Sure.
NXT would be a farm team, so the Penticton Vs.
Yeah, okay.
It's you're learning the skills to get to that level.
Yeah, okay. But obviously this is for a retired wrestler versus what's his face right now? Cesaro, yeah.
Obviously William Regal doesn't need polishing.
No, he's
he's pretty fucking good.
Yeah. He's refined like a good wine.
Yeah, he's so good, and his promo, again, I keep going back to it, but it's so good because he has so many great lines in it. He's I've been a world traveled wrestler for 30 years, and I never achieved what I wanted most, which is to be world heavyweight champion. That's such a I love his promo, and I think it's so good. And like you said, the match is really great because it starts off with them just doing wrist locks. And I'm oh, Justin's going to be bored as shit of this because it's just technical wrestling for
if they
10
were
minutes.
Just standing still holding each other for 5 minutes, I would be bored. But that was not the case here.
No, because they're actually working holds. They're actually somebody will get a hold and the guy will be oh, how do I get out of this shit?
And when they're trying to pin and stuff, they're actually really struggling to, move out of it or move to the ropes or do something of that sort.
They're actually treating it like it's a sport.
Yeah, it was actually treated almost like a sport.
Yeah, no, it's really good. And William Regal is just I know he's old at this point, like he's in like his late 40s or whatever. Like he's fairly old for a wrestler, but he's still so fucking good.
And I personally was like watching like near the end of it. I felt like some of those blows when kicking right in the back of the knee and even the stomping on the head.
Yeah, the shot to the back of the knee is really good.
Yeah.
That the head stomp is just like, ooh, fuck.
I'm like, okay, he's done for. He's probably... You would think, like, he's concussed or something.
Yeah, it's such a good spot. And the way it's, like, shot is really good, too. I love, like... You see Cesaro kind of just, like, looking down at Regal, and he's, like, slowly pulling himself up. And it's just a great visual.
Yeah.
Of, like, William Regal is just like, I'm not going down. You're going to have to fucking put me down. And I really love the way that it makes Cesaro look like a star. Mm-hmm. Because, like, he beats somebody who's a legitimate legend. Yeah. And, like, really well respected. And, like, Regal still puts in a fucking great performance.
Yeah, and this isn't like the other one with, was it Hulk Hogan or The Rock? I don't remember which one it was that I watched that didn't do it well.
You mean the Sting match?
Or Sting match, yeah.
Yeah, that was Hogan.
Hollywood Hogan, right.
Yeah, which is the exact opposite, because Hogan's so fucking selfish.
Yeah.
And, like, this match, Regal is giving everything to Cesaro. He's trying to make him a star.
Yeah, I can see the difference between these two matches. It really shows.
Yeah, it's...
And the way that they ended off with a handshake at the end, so it's like, that's a good touch.
Yeah, no, it's... I really, really enjoy this. And, like, I think the only thing I don't like about it is that it was on NXT. Where, like, not many people are going to see it.
Which is unfortunate, but, I mean, I would say a lot of people who are fans of wrestling in general would probably end up
You have to be a pretty hardcore fan to watch NXT. Because, like, it's not on traditional TV in North America. Yeah, you have to get the WWE Network to watch it.
Yeah, but if you're a hardcore fan and whatnot, and you hear William Regal or something, and if you know that name, obviously you want to watch it.
No, I just mean, like, if they were, like, to put this on, like, one of their main TV shows that are available to everyone, that would be kind of nice, but it is what it is. Okay, so, you made me watch some stupid, terrible show.
No, I made you watch The Rising of the Shield Hero.
Oh.
Which is this year's new hit show that's an isekai, which is just an anime that's set in another world setting.
And it's really bad.
It's not bad.
We have very different thoughts on this.
Yes, we do, apparently.
Okay, so why don't you go over the basic, like, plot of the episode?
Alright, starting off. I'll refer to the main character as Shield Hero, because I don't expect you to remember Naofumi Iwatani.
I don't even remember it now.
Exactly. Anyways, so it starts off with Shield Hero not being the Shield Hero quite yet, because he hasn't been transferred to the other world. He's basically just some nerd, doesn't exactly have a job or anything, but living with his parents, and he goes to the library to go read a book, and apparently this book transported him to another world, where the book described that there were 4 cardinal heroes. There's the sword, the spear, the bow, and the shield, and he was thinking, the shield isn't really a weapon, more like armor, and then he ends up becoming the Shield Hero.
Yeah, so they're pulled into this, like, other world where they're like, we need these fucking heroes because of these things called the waves. They're coming to destroy the land.
Yeah, basically.
And then, like, yeah, so there's 3 other people that are pulled in, and they're immediately like, okay, what do we get if we help you?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, so you're kind of taking us here against our own will. What are we getting out of this?
Yeah, and eventually they all figure out that they're all from, like, different versions of Japan, from, like,
yeah, they're dimensions. From, like, parallel dimensions that, like, apparently one of them is, like, one that has, like, VR MMOs. I'm like, really?
I mean,
I can see it.
That's gonna happen.
Probably, yeah.
Like, in the next 10 years.
I don't know, it's arguable VR chat's like that, but maybe not. But anyway, besides that, so apparently they were recruiting other warriors to fight alongside them, and no one sides with the Shield hero because he doesn't know anything about this world.
Because he's trash-flavored trash.
Or, actually, there's another reason. There's, like, kind of a conspiracy that, in this, there's a religion that's against the Shield hero in this kingdom, apparently. So, there's a heavy bias against him.
Okay. But that isn't something we get told in this episode.
That is not, yeah.
No. Okay. So they all end up at the castle, and they're like, hey, so y'all get some folks to go with you as your, like, helpers or whatever.
Yeah.
And then nobody sides with the Shield hero because he's trash-flavored trash.
Pretty much it.
And then the one chick ends up going and siding with him. I can't remember her name.
You can call her bitch.
This is the part of the episode that just, like, pissed me off immediately.
Okay.
Well, we're getting to it.
I see what you mean. Like, I did mention, like, this episode can be controversial, but I say it doesn't matter too much. It has to happen for the plot to move forward.
No, it doesn't.
Oh,
anyway,
yes.
So she goes out with him, and they're like, hey, let's get some equipment, and, you know, whatever. And then they go back to this inn, and we find out that their society is allegedly a matriarchy, which doesn't make sense because they have a king. You know what a matriarchy is, right?
It's,
a society where women would be in charge. But they have a king.
There is a queen somewhere, but yeah. For some reason, the king is ruling this land.
That's supposedly a matriarchy.
There's apparently a problem there.
Yep.
I don't think it's a problem with the writing in general. It's just a problem that no one is seeing apparently.
Or, I mean, I'll fully admit that could be a translation issue as well.
I don't know, maybe.
Because you are translating it from another language, so things could, you know, not translate well.
Fair.
So I'll give it that. And then we cut to Homeboy, Shield Hero, getting, like, woken up in the middle of the night. And then the Knights arresting him and taking him, because they're like, oh, the king wants to see you. Rah, 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 rah. So they take him to the king. And he's like, hey, all my shit got stoled. And then the chick who was his companion is...
Head and heavy quotes.
Yes. Alleges that he raped her, or attempted to.
Mm-hmm.
Which is all a ploy by her to get shit for this other guy.
For the spear hero.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's also to put the Shield hero in his place, or, you know, down.
There's a million other ways you could have done this.
Sure.
I hate it. Ooh, I hate this so much. Like, you have... I'm not even joking. I really fucking hate this.
I see I have a problem with this as well.
This is the one thing that I have the biggest issue with. Before this, I was like, okay, the show's kind of generic, but whatever. This, I was just like, oh, fucking hell. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I really hate this. So then what happens after that? Because I was just fuming at this point.
Okay, well, Shield Hero's now filled with rage, saying, like, they can shove all their coins up their asses, ditches the castle with no money, and then he goes and fights some balloons until he's level 2, sells a bunch of balloons to a dealer, like the shreddings of one, but the dealer's all like, oh, I'll pay you a copper for the 20 pieces, and then he kind of threatens him with other live balloons that are on him to sell it for more copper, that he sold that the other guy for a bit more than that. And then he also meets this slave trader.
Okay, this is the other thing that pissed me off. Apparently our big baby face is going to be a slave owner.
I wouldn't call him much of a babyface in this.
But, like, he's apparently meant to be. Like, are we supposed to like him? Because this really makes no sense. Because, okay, this is why this does not make sense to me. So, he's dragged into this world against his will.
Yep.
And then he's accused of something he didn't do.
Correct.
But then at the end, he's going to become a slave owner. So, babyface, heel. This doesn't make sense.
And as he looked into the eyes of the woman in the cage, he only felt hatred to try and get back at the woman that's basically betrayed her. Or betrayed him.
I hate this so much.
But yet... Yeah, so...
It's... Oh, I hate it so much.
Oddly enough, the rest of the series is more or less generic anime shenanigans.
How
do you go from that?
How? He, like... Oh, I really hate this. So first, like... We get the false rape accusation, which... Fuck any show that does that.
What's your problem with this, if it was rape or murder?
Either, like, okay, so... Because of how, as a society, we've dealt with sexual crimes, using it as a plot point in a show that hasn't earned it is really fucked.
In Japan, they don't really have a problem with this sort of issue.
Okay, but you're translating it for a Western audience.
It's not going to dumb it down for a Western audience.
Either way, I really dislike it. Like, I really dislike it.
Okay.
The other thing is, apparently our main character is now going to be a slave owner.
Yeah, pretty much, for as long as I can tell in the show.
And I really hate that, too.
Although, I mean, sure, it sets up that he's going to be owning a slave. However, the thing is, in the coming episode or so, like, this slave itself is apparently sick, and he has to take care of her. But he sees her as, like, someone who has to fight for him because he can't fight himself.
Yeah, that's not okay. Like,
But he's confronted, like, in episode 4 or something, after the first wave ends, that, is like, hey, you have a slave in your party, I'm gonna challenge you to a fight, and if I win, then you get to lose your slave.
So who does that?
The Spear Hero. Because of the bitch face's suggestion.
So this is really just confused then. Because, like, being the person who goes like, hey, it's not okay to have slaves, should make them the good guy.
Yeah, I mean, he thinks of himself as a good guy. He doesn't know he's being manipulated.
This is so...
Oh, yes, it is. There's all sorts of interesting fuckness.
It just... Okay.
But yet, the slave doesn't exactly leave him even after her slave crest is removed. Because of the feelings that she developed for him. And the heroes are like, must be some brainwashing, but no.
Okay. I don't get it, but okay. I mean, it happened, and it was a show, but I wouldn't recommend it.
I would highly recommend it.
Well, we are very different people, apparently.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, well, you should watch more wrestling.
I would say you should watch more anime.
No.
Yeah.
No. Go watch more William Regal matches. William Regal's really fucking good.
Well, I can tell from the match, at least. That was not bad.
He did this gimmick where he was GM of Raw at one point. It was really good. Anyway. So, until next time, I'm Paul.
And I'm Justin.